Speaking freedom. Speaking freedom. Giving you the answers to be free. Be free. Be free. 'Cause we're speaking freedom. And we're live online with Kaci.
It's time. It's time. It's motherfucking time again. Better believe it. Better believe it. Oh yeah, you see it.
Hey, big boy, when are you gonna give me a rat on that bike?
I believe in money, power, and respect. First you get the money, then you get the motherfucking power. After you get the fucking power, motherfuckers rule your life. Money, power, respect, you need life.
Let's talk about the locks. Well, I just ballin', but money, power, respect raised me, so you know, nigga, you know what it is, nigga. We lit, nigga, lit. Hold on, let me do it again. Lit. Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Lit. We lit, nigga. So I was just sitting here thinking, like, man, I think no matter what path that I was supposed to take, my life was always supposed to be more than average. My life would have been some form or variation of what I see today. Could have been better, could have been worse, could have enhanced in one way, shape, form, or fashion. When I think about the different opportunities that I have allowed to pass me by, the different things that I just didn't consider or take advantage of, the different people that I've encountered over the years, and where my life could have been if I would have, most times been more patient, been willing to hold my horses, or just maybe been around different people that would have not been haters. I'm just playing. Anyways, so I was just thinking, like, man, I've met so many people in my life to where I believe that is no matter what I could have done or would have done, my life was meant to be lit. And I'm not saying that like, you know, like I'm bragging or like my life is better than somebody else's, because shit got its own flaws, trust me. But honestly, I feel like with every encounter that I've had in every situation and circumstance, God has always presented me a way to be great. He has always allowed me to meet, connect with, have some type of encounter, rub shoulders with, or bump elbows with a lot of different people. It's like no way that I would not have made my way to be, I want to say, a household name. There's no way that I could have, I don't think there's no way that I could have avoided it. And I'm saying all of this because I was thinking, like, man, I remember when I met such and such, and you know what I'm saying, this is what this encounter was like. And if I would have taken this encounter at this point in my life and did this, or if I would have waited or moved like this, then I could have been this, and this, or that could have led me to meet people that I eventually met. Like, it's some people that if I would have taken the particular path that I was thinking about initially, when that path was presented when I was like 16, 17, or I might have already been 17, because it was after my mom tried to kill me, I think. So if I would have taken that opportunity then, or if I would have paid more attention, waited, or been more open to, then I would have met some of the people that I eventually met 10, 15 years later. Well, no, it ain't been that long. That I eventually met 3 or 4 years later. So I would have already been on the path to meet some people, regardless of where I went, regardless of who I was, or the path for me to meet some people was presented before I even went to the Army. And then I end up meeting those same people after I went to the Army in a different way, shape, form, or fashion. And this is what makes me believe that no matter what I would have done, there's some things that I would have encountered in some places that I would have been and some things that I would have seen regardless, because if I can look and I can see where, damn, I would have met this person here, but then I end up meeting them there. So eventually that time of encounter or that knowing of the person really matters in my life, because on both tracks, I would have met that person. You know what I'm saying? And then if I even think about this particular thing even further, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people I may know that or encounter in such a way to where my work has impacted their lives that I would have known. You know what I'm saying? It's so much that could have happened from this first. I'm trying to think real quick because I had 2 different experiences. One was a genuine, authentic experience. This is the one that I'm talking about. But there was another experience in which, like, it was kind of similar but totally different. This other encounter it's still, all of these encounters will put me along the path that I am on today. All of these experiences, all of these places and people that I've been exposed to was leading me to what we see now. But the thing is, where would I be on the scale of what we see if I would have taken any one of these other paths? Because right now, this is the cool, calm, collective, modest, been through some hard times, Kaci. I mean, and even in those hard times, I've always seen God's favor. God always makes a way for me to prevail and get and do and be and see, and like, God is there for me. So don't get me wrong, but the way that I went ended up being challenging, but the ways that have been presented could have been even as challenging or more challenging. But then if I didn't take the path that I took to get to where that I'm at, I may not be where I'm at mentally, spiritually, physically, in my mind, professionally, personally. I would have had some variation of it. But the other variation could have been me being on drugs. The other variation could also be even bigger or being a bigger player than what I perceive myself today. Okay, so listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that I'm the biggest bubble. But I also believe that the way things have come about, I don't have as much say-so as I would like to. And there's nothing wrong with the position I'm in, but it could be vastly different. And I could have been a CEO in a label or something. The position would be the same, but it would be totally different. So I don't believe that there was some other thing for me to do, or, you know what I'm saying, like, this was it regardless. Like, even though I don't move in that narrative now, I believe that that door was open for me to be great regardless. Because I be thinking like, man, I could have been, this is just me thinking now, I could have been a CEO of a record label or of a entertainment business. And not that I'm not doing it now, not that I'm not moving towards that now, and not that I don't live in that light in some aspects now. But the perception of what I do with the reality of what I do can kind of be misconstrued, because everybody else sees me as I am doing all these things and strategic plays that I am delegating, basically. And then when I see on my end, it doesn't feel like that to me. And some of that may be because, you know, I'm humble in such a way that I don't pursue a lot of things. I'm cool and I'm content with gradually getting whatever I'm supposed to get without going and running behind it. There is some things that I could do now to make myself be in a better position, I believe. But there are some things that I also need to employ other people to help me maneuver. But if I was taking this one route, I would have still gotten the essence of who I am right now would have been the essence of who I would have been in any situation. And this is really good for and relevant to the soul narrative of patience, growth, and not being upset with who you are based on what you've been exposed to. Because regardless of where you're at now, you are going to end up that way, whether greater or lesser. And when I say lesser, like the lesser version of me, if I probably would have stayed in Dayton and I would have never moved from Dayton and I would have settled, I would have still been probably in Dayton trying to, listen, quote unquote, trying to run some shit or doing some shit where I was be in a large capacity of some scale. But a lot of my experience in recent years made me scale back and shrink down. Some because I don't be feeling like doing a lot of shit, and then others because of the way that entertainment changes your life and how you're able to live publicly. But I would have been still in some capacity of my leadership personality. My personality doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the environment and circumstances, the people that I encounter, which introduces me to new environments and new circumstances. So if I would have taken this path earlier on, like it was either, and I'm just saying this hypothetically, it was either this certain path, the lesser path, or the path that I took. And this is kind of good, because you got the certain path that may have been a little bit higher on the Richter scale as far as exposure to things, as far as experiences, as far as knowledge, as far as the accessibility to people, places, things, and other circumstances. And then you have the lower essence of who I could have been, where I just stayed average. I stayed in the city. I stayed doing what everybody in the city is probably doing. I don't know. I don't know where I would have been if I would have stayed in the city. I always said I probably would have had some kids, and I would have never went to the Army if I would have had that baby. So the lower version would have been me figuring out how to do it from Dayton. And then the version that I took is the version that brought me here. And then even through the course, from the occasion, the encounter, the experience that I'm speaking of, that instance of what it could have been on the higher scale, from there to where me moving to Atlanta, because I could have stayed in the city and then end up moving to Atlanta and still made something for myself. But the way that I would have had to go about doing that would have been very different. Like, I toyed with the ideal of being a stripper when I was in the Army. If I would have been on my own in the streets, I probably would have taken that avenue. Shit, right now, for real, I be thinking that if I would have just gone in the strip club when I used to live on Brockett, or if I would have just gone in the strip club when I used to want to go to Magic City, when I was curious about places that I had never been to, because I had never been to a strip club until I was about 30. If I would have gone in those places and mingled the way that I used to mingle, be who I was when I was younger, and I was popping out and I was willing to go places by myself, I was doing things, you know what I'm saying, on my own, and I would just be popping my shit, then I would have, even after the military, there are so many other vastness of my essence that it could have leveled out to, because I took the route that had me living a straight and narrow church girl life. But the bad version is if I would have got out the military and then plateaued and didn't do nothing with myself and just stayed stuck struggling. And then the high essence of when I got out the military is if I would have been not so deep in the church and worked my book the way that I could have worked my book, and I really went towards entertainment back then my life would have still been different, but it would have still been in this essence. Who I am is who I am. The decisions I make, it determines who I am a little bit, but the environment determines what I'm exposed to, what I have access to, and who I can become. Who I am is a part of who I'm going to become if I learn to use who I am to become what I'm meant to be. But thinking about some of the encounters that I've had in my life, and it really, to me, seems like God purposed me to be where I am today in every way, shape, form, or fashion, because no matter what path that I would have taken, it probably would have ended up with me being some essence of what you see today, whether better or a little dwindled down version. I am who I am. You are who you are. And the only way that you can become who you're meant to be is to go within and really see yourself for who God created you to be, and then work through the things that have hurt you, the things that have set you back or set you on a different path, because the essence of who you are doesn't change. The environment, the circumstances, and the people that you surround yourself with may. The more you enlighten that essence, the more you feed that essence, the brighter the light, the more things that you'll be exposed to in the environments, and the people will change around you. But if you don't, then you're still going to be who you are. I know know some dope ass people. They could be more if they took the initiative or had the knowledge to be more or wanted to be more, but they choose to be less. Like, I could be more than what I am right now, but I choose not to be famous. I choose not to, for that scrutiny, that attention, that's a lot of shit that I don't want, that comes with a certain, you know what I'm saying, part of who God created me to be. That's the part, though. I know that God created me to be something great, someone great. And I have to either come to grips with the fullness of it or scale it to where I'm comfortable with it. And I really want to maximize it. It's just going to take for God to surround me with the right people to help me, to support me through it. That's the best way to say it. But yeah, I was just thinking about, man, some people I would have met regardless, because encounters that I had that would have allowed me to meet them at some point in my life is just like, this is what allows me to know that the path that I'm on is the path that I'm meant to be on, despite the deja vu and the dreams and stuff too. All of these things feed into what I know and what I see and what I do. All right, bye. I love you.
Speaking Freedom presents Good Head Group, providing advanced spiritual studies and personal developmental insight. Brought to you by Love Gang and Speaking Freedom. We look forward to helping you grow in all the areas of your life. We hope that you find all the information needed for your growth. God bless. Please listen to all disclaimers provided. If you are currently under physician's care, please maintain that relationship. This is not intended to stop your current treatment plan. If you need physician care, please seek out medical attention. Please note, all results are based on the individual's ability to adapt and adjust to any given environment and situation. We are not responsible for your results at Speaking Freedom. The life enhancement coaches at Speaking Freedom provide information to help you grow. You are responsible for maintaining that growth, taking on and then applying the information to your individual life as you deem needed and necessary. This may contain and explain explicit content. Please use parental discretion. For best results, you will need an open mind, the ability to research, and a balanced lifestyle.
Please join us daily for your inspiration and motivation.
We have the entire world to offer you at your fingertips. Your life enhancement coaching specialist. Thank you for choosing us to assist you in accomplishing your personal and professional goals. And have a beautiful day. In love, we trust. This is brought to you by Good Head Group, Love Gang, and Speaking Freedom. We thank God for you, and we love you.
Hi, I'm Kaci, Dr. Kaci to be exact, owner of Speaking Freedom LLC, Love Gang, and Good Head Group LLC. I am also a certified life coach and host of Speaking Freedom Radio and TV. Although I have recently became an ordained minister, please be aware that I am still me, raw and uncut the way God made me and allowed life to shape me. I pray and expect God to use me for people who can receive the way I communicate, as well as my delivery. I am not for those who are already saved, religious, or super deep. I am for the leaders, hustlers, and street influencers around the world, including pimps, killers, drug dealers, and working girls. I am sharing my experiences and perspective to help someone be inspired to be better. And for those who can identify with the various aspects of my mindset. My mindset alone does not determine the status of any active connections or current relationships that have not already been specifically addressed. Additionally, these recordings should not be taken personally if I have not already spoken to you about the topic or expressed that I have an issue. These recordings are a part of my life's work to document my experience, perspective, and to see how life has shaped me. My plan in using my stories publicly and socially is to encourage growth in those who can identify with the experiences and find inspiration in my life to heal and overcome the path that they've been set on, no matter what they face, as according to the purpose of their soul, until healing takes place. Despite the experiences that I may have had with any person, sometimes known and unknown, I hold no grudges, no hate, no bitterness, or any other ill feelings against anyone. I pray that your life is whole and very fruitful. I forgive you as I hope that you forgive me if I have wronged you or anyone that you know or anyone who listens to me. I pray that you have peace and extend the same grace to others. I have love for everyone, especially on a human level, despite flaws or experiences. But that doesn't mean that I will associate or be close to every human that I know or meet. I've experienced a very eventful life and truly believe that my mindset and story based on experiences could help those who identify with how I think and are looking for inspiration to grow further, go beyond hurt, and be great. I pray that these recordings bless you and your soul in every way, in whatever way God has intended. Sending love and light to all. Thanks for listening. Achieve your dreams.